wrap up this lesson. All right. So here's another example. It says Miss Dow deposits $2,000 into a bank account that pays 7% annual interest that is compounded annually. What this means is that the bank will pay her 7% of her account balance as interest at the end of each year. And she leaves the original amount in the interest in the account. What we want to know is when will the amount will double in value. All right? So here's what first thing we need to think about is 7% interest is equivalent to 0.07. All right? That we must know. All right? In order for us to write a recursive routine for this problem, we need the starting amount, which is my u sub 0 value. All right? U sub 0 is going to be 2,000 since I deposited $2,000 into the bank account. Our recursive routine is going to be un equals un minus 1. And it is going to be a geometric sequence because it's not going to increase by the same amount every year. The more money that I have in the bank, the more money that I'm going to get from the interest. So if it's not a arithmetic sequence and it is a geometric sequence, we are going to multiply it by a number. All right? So the question is, what exactly are we going to multiply by? The way that I think about this problem is that there is 100% of my balance that is already sitting in the bank. The bank is going to give me another 7%, so that's a plus 7% that the bank is going to pay me. So every year I'm actually going to get 107% back from the bank. Now 107% is equivalent to 1.07. So the number that I'm going to multiply is 1.07. Now that I have this recursive routine written down, what I need to do then is to put this into my calculator. Again, here's what you're going to need. Your U min, your N min, which is the first thing that you see on your calculator. It's going to be that little subscript number right next to the U sub 0 or U sub 1. So in our case, it's going to be 0. The second thing that you're going to need to enter is UN. And that's my routine. And that's the U parentheses N minus 1. And I'm going to multiply it by 1.07. The third thing that you're going to need to enter is the U parentheses N min. That's the initial amount or the starting amount. So in our case, it is 2,000. Right? Once you enter this into your calculator, then what I would like you to do is go to your table, so that's second graph, and see when will the amount double in value. When will it be $4,000? All right. And then just as an extension, I just want to know when will it triple in value? When will it be $6,000 and so forth? So let me wrap up this lesson, all right? When we're talking about a value of an item, whatever it might be, if it's decaying or depreciating in value, to write a recursive formula for this, what you will need is your starting value, which is usually U sub 0 to indicate that this item is brand new. So you're going to put in a value for U sub 0. The routine itself is going to be UN equals U parentheses N minus 1, and we're going to multiply it by something. And that multiplication is usually going to be less than 1. The reason is because you want to think of it as the 100% in its value and it's depreciating by some type of amount, okay? subtracting the value that is depreciating by. And don't forget that once you have that percentage, don't forget to convert it into decimal. You will need to put decimal in place of the parentheses. Again, that common ratio, that R that you find there, okay, that common ratio is going to be less than 1. All right, that is for problems, examples that is depreciating in value. All right. Now, what if something is appreciating or it has a growth? Then, again, you still need your u sub 0 number, whatever it might be. And your recursive routine is going to be un equals to un minus 1 times, again, some type of common ratio. Now, I think of it as 100% plus whatever is increasing by. That will give me another percentage, but again, don't forget to convert it into decimal before you put it inside the parentheses. That common ratio for an item that is appreciating value or growth is going to be greater than 1. If it's greater than 1, it will grow, it will increase. If it's less than 1, it will decrease and it will go down. All right. So these are the two main objectives for lesson 1.2. Another thing that I would like you to write down, we don't need to know this yet, but here are some common terms that is used in finance. If you're looking at an annual interest, that's compounding once a year. And so the interest rate doesn't have to be divided by anything. If it's semi-annual, that means that it's compounded twice a year. You'll notice that we're taking the interest rate and we're dividing it by 2. All right. Quarterly would be dividing it by 4. Monthly would be dividing it by 12. Bi-weekly is dividing it by 26. Weekly is dividing by 52. And daily is dividing it by 360. Again, we will talk about this more in lesson 1.5, but I just want to introduce it today. So these are common terms that is used in finance.